Predicting your financial future. A brief introduction to budgeting and cash flow forecasts and why they help your organisation and your funding applications. Why make a budget? You know you can make a big difference to help people in your area, but can you afford it? A good budget will help you to know this. What is it? It's a plan of action to deliver what you want to do. It should be flexible, so it can be adjusted to respond to unexpected events. What if I get it wrong? It will always be wrong. It's based on a best estimate using information available at the time, but it can and should be adjusted in response to events. Making a budget. Where do I start? What does your organisation want to do? Why are you here? What do you want to deliver? What resources do you need and how much will they cost? Budgeting is not just the finance person's job. The people responsible for doing the work know what is needed. Where is the money going to come from? Do you charge for your service? Apply for grants? Fundraise? How can I know the answers to these questions? Look at what has happened in the past. Do your research. Be cautious. If you include it, do you have an alternative plan? Here is a blank budget template, which we may ask you to complete when applying for a grant. You can input your figures for previous years, as well as an initial and revised budget for the current year. Here we would like you to record past and expected income and expenditure, as well as how much money you have or expect to have in the bank at the end of the financial year. This may consist of unrestricted funds that you can spend how you wish, or funds that are restricted for a particular purpose. Here is an example of a completed budget template for the fictional Anywhere charity. This organisation run twice weekly craft sessions. To deliver the sessions, they need a building to host in, craft materials, staff and volunteers. They receive their money by making a small charge for people attending the sessions. They often also receive grant income and hold their own fundraising events throughout the year. Their original budget was based on experience from previous years. A £20,000 grant had been applied for. Trading income was estimated based on session admission prices, and the charity knew that some of their expenses increased slightly each year. The forecast was revised when the grant received was lower than expected. They adjusted their staff costs, fees expected, and materials costs accordingly. However, the revised forecast shows that the charity are predicting a loss of £2,000 at the end of the year. It also shows that they had £1,500 in the bank at the beginning of the year. What does this tell us? The charity know they might not have enough money for the financial year. When will this be a problem? Having an idea of cash flow will help them to answer this. It will also help them explain to funders why they need some money. Cash flow forecasts predict how much money you will have in the bank at any point over the coming months. They can help you to make decisions, especially if your income and expenditure isn't regular. And they could help to share with funders to show when and why money is needed. This is a blank cash flow forecast. The amount of income and expenditure expected to arrive in and leave the bank account in a particular month is recorded. The movement in period cells calculate the overall money in or out of the bank account in the month. This movement is used to find the expected closing bank balance at the end of each month. Starting from month 1 and working through all months, gives an overview of how much money an organisation is likely to hold at the end of each month. This can give a useful financial picture. Here is the cash flow forecast for the Anywhere charity. Looking at the closing bank balance row, we can see that the charity will have a cash flow problem in February, May and August. They have already cut costs as much as they feel comfortable. How do they solve the cash flow issue? They shouldn't just ignore it and hope for the best. Possible solutions could be asking the bank for a loan, planning a fundraising event, or applying for another grant. The Anywhere charity applied for funding of £5,000 to help them with their running costs. They were able to show the funder a clear budget and cash flow forecast, which helped them to show why funding was needed, but also that the organisation was sustainable. They are currently formulating next year's budget, factoring in the need for an additional paid fundraiser to help them to avoid cash flow problems in the future. Without the budget and cash flow forecast, they might not have been able to spot the problem and could have found themselves owing money. They may not have been able to secure the additional funding without a clear plan. Final points. The budget is an integral part of making your organisation's plans a reality. Everyone should be involved. It's not just a finance thing. Things won't work out the way you expect. The budget can and should be flexible. We need to be able to react to events and adjust plans accordingly. Regularly compare your budget to what is actually happening. Use a cash flow forecast to identify if and when problems might occur. Try and build a pot of unrestricted money or reserves to help you through if times are hard. How can we help? Two Ridings Community Foundation can provide you with a simple Excel template to create your budget and cash flow statement. If you apply to us and we ask you for a budget or cash flow forecast and you're not sure, ask us. You can email grants@tworidingcf.org.uk or telephone 01904 929 500.